You got clutch.
What's going on, people? It's your main man, Johnny Clutch Cores, aka Johnny Clutch Crypto, back again with another VaporFi update. Lots of things going on and moving in the VaporFi world. Vapor Chain is on the way. There's so many different products that are being pitched that possibly will be coming to fruition here shortly. So one of the things that we did last time is we compounded. We did a compound all. We're going to do another compound all right now because, and the reason why is there is actually a vote that is coming up, and we're going to talk about the vote and talk about what our strategies may be, right, going forward. As you see right now, we're going to go ahead and do a compound all, because we're trying to get our nodes built up to just below that threshold where the price changes. So there you go. We went ahead and compound it. We almost have all 2,000 VPND nodes, generating that 1.4 APR per day. And our compound bonus of 25%. It makes us look real good right now. So, that being said, everything is being good. As you can see, we almost have 12,000 in our VPND in our nodes. We have an estimated income of $10 per day because the price of VPND shot up. It's currently at 8 cents. It had been as low as like 3 cents or 2 cents in the last week or so. The current node, minimum node creation price is 1,000 VPND as it was last week. So let's jump back into it over here. So now we're up to, went from $8 to $10 because of the higher price. And now our rewards are starting to grow again, which is terrific, which is great. So what we want to jump into is this. This is a community proposal for rewards and taxes, which will be up for vote here shortly, I believe. They announced on the Discord. So some of the things that they talked about, this significantly reduces multiple points of persistent sales pressure, introduced an AVAX-based revenue stream into the VaporFi platform, affording additional investment and or VPND buyback opportunity, recalibrate bonuses for prolonged sustainability, substantial extension of the platform's runway, and a modest increase into deflationary activity. So the one thing that has been good about VaporFi is that as a team, they've constantly been at least aware enough to be like, okay, look, we need to tweak this a little bit. We need to change this a little bit. We need to kind of fix this. And I think this is kind of what you want from a DeFi project. Not saying that, these guys know exactly what they're doing. Not saying that these guys are, like a lot of people talk about Drip, like, the dude in Drip, Forex Shark is the smartest dude ever, or people will talk about Hex, and Richard Hart is the smartest guy ever. But these guys appear to be approaching it in the right way. What we have to realize here is that we're all very early in DeFi, right? You know how you're early in DeFi because there's still rug pulls, there's still undocked projects, and there's still not a Wells Fargo, a Chase, a Bank of America, or any other major money entity in the DeFi space fully at this point in time. So we're still very early, and a lot of these concepts are being worked out by these guys who are really like, they're the first explorers of this. They're I won't say Columbus because he ain't discovered nothing, but similar to other explorers who are the first to discover things, they are discovering or coming up with different iterations of activities that can generate income. And, what do you do? Because, a lot of this stuff right now is really, glorified hedge funds that are run by, Joe Schmo, for all we know, when it comes to it. But I appreciate the fact that they appear to be looking at their protocol, evaluating it on a constant basis, assessing whether something is sustainable or not, and trying to make some changes to adjust it, even though it may ruffle some feathers, right? Hey, we're going to reduce this. We're going to increase this, things of that nature. Some of the things they did would flip the script, right? So let's look at the compound tax here. Right. So for nodes under 5,000, the compound tax is 5%, 2% is burned, 3% goes to a reward pool, 5,000 to 50,000, 7%, up to 499,000, 9%, and 12%. So let's take it to the compound tax. The substantial rate of growth of VaporFi paired with the strong tendency for our community to frequently compound rewards. So they're looking at the compounding of rewards and saying, hey, a lot of people are compounding, which means, they're going to get bigger payouts, right? They're going to get bigger payouts. And then there's going to be sales pressure for them to recoup that money or at least profit from that, right? At some point, because if the VPN compounding is growing faster than the invested VPND, the actual invested VPND, then what you start to create is this snowball in the wrong direction, right? And it becomes more of a Ponzi, right? More of a Ponzi where you got money, money, money. People think they got money, 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 but their investment isn't growing as fast as they're quote unquote making money via compounding. So they're going to make some adjustments there. So here I believe they're introducing this because I don't believe we were getting taxed before. So now they're going to start taxing when you compound. So 5% of it's going to go away. And keep in mind, they're already giving bonuses. So for this particular node, I think the bonus tier, this is the bonus tier we're in. So the bonus tier is 25%. So they're giving a 25% bonus when you compound. And then they're taking back 5% of that in tax, where 2% is burned, 3% goes to a reward pool. So that's one piece of it. So let's move down to the token allocation of newly created nodes. So this breaks out a new allocation where 80% in the current allocation, 80% went to the reward pool, 10% went to VPND / avax LP, which I believe is on Trader Joe, and then 10% went to the team pool operational budget, right? So here they're increasing the rewards pool by 4% and then decreasing the other two pieces of the pie by 2%. So that's pretty straightforward as far as the allocation of new tokens invested to create nodes, right? So that's pretty straightforward, and I don't see any objection there. So then they talk about the flip the script. So when they initially flip the script, as we just saw on my nodes, maximum diamond hand here is 1.4%. So that's going down to 1.2% in this particular. So it's a 5% reduction overall across all node types, right? Actually, when you get above 20,000, it's just 1%. So that's pretty straightforward. So it's going to reduce those rewards. Just that little 5% reduction might be giving them some breathing room as they kind of play with it. And you can see they're very minute with the tinkering. So it's not a change of the whole overall. It's just like, okay, let me move it a little bit here, a little bit there. So that's actually pretty encouraging from the type of care that they're taking. They're not just like, oh, well, we did this for a little bit, now we're just going to take it away, right? That type of deal. So let me close Discord because I don't want Discord blinging while we're talking. So the diamond hands bonus, as you can see here, nodes up to 50,000. Diamond hands tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, right? So the diamond hands bonus is another distinctive reflection of Vapor's commitment to offering unique, paradigm shifting bonus opportunities to most of our loyal investors. Nonetheless, the diamond hands bonus has been long recognized as creating a substantial strain on the rewards pool. It should come as no surprise that we've crafted an alternative solution. The diamond hands bonus would retain its retroactive mechanics and otherwise function as it does today. The recalibration of the diamond hands bonus structure will drastically reduce the outflow of additional rewards by over 70% while retaining the unconventional investment strategies that it begins, right? So what it's showing is, so what they're doing here is extending the tiers, because I don't think it was 20 days. I think it ramped up, over, 10 or 15 days. Don't hold me to that. I had to go look. But basically, tier 1 would be 20 days at 1.05, and then 30 days 1.1, and then 40 days at 1.3, as long as your node was 50,000 VPND or less. And then, as you can see, the corresponding tiers for 50,000 to 499,000, and then nodes up to 500,000, right? So once again, they're tweaking it just a little bit, leaving the same mechanic there, but just tweaking that mechanic. So I do like that. Now here's one that I think is the one to pay attention to. I think everything else is kind of straightforward. This one is kind of shifty, right? So this is a claim tax, and they currently have a claim tax mechanism, but they're going to change it ever so slightly here. The proposed alterations to the claim tax are arguably the most complex and revolutionary reimagining of our current tokenomics. Presently, there is a flat 10% claims tax by deducting this full amount from the available VPN tokens being claimed. These tokens are mostly sent to the Treasury, mandating an ever-mounting degree of sell pressure internally. 9% is sent to the Treasury, while 1% of the tokens are burned to induce deflationary action. This handicaps the Treasury from utilizing these VPND-based funds without selling the VPND first, creating negative price pressure. So here's the current mechanism. The current mechanism is 10% tax out of the VPND that you're claiming, right? So if you claiming 1,000 VPND, they take 100 VPND, you get 900 VPND, right? 1% of that 900 VPND is burned, and then the other 9% is sent to the Treasury. So they take 90 VPND, burn them, send the other 810 to the Treasury. The new mechanism will be 1% will continue to be burned, except for nodes greater than 500,000 VPND. This will now increase to 2%. So on nodes that are over 500,000 VPND, they will burn 2% of that claim. The remainder of the old claim tax will be paid by an equivalent value of avax from your wallet. The value of what you pay is the same. You just will be paying the tax in an alternative token. Now, this is very a very subtle change that will help the Treasury, I'm sure, but it's something that as an investor, you're going to have to now be somewhat conscious of the price of VPND against the price of avax. Okay, so let's take a quick look at avax today. AVAX is currently at $79. It over the last 24 hours is up 10%, but over the last 7 days is down 9%, right? Now, if we look at a lot of crypto, it kind of, most crypto either mirrors Bitcoin or is opposite of Bitcoin, right? Or, divergent to Bitcoin. And a lot of these major ones, we start talking about BNB, Avalanche, Doge, SHIB, a lot of this stuff is going to run along the lines of Bitcoin. So you see negative 9%. If we scroll down here to VPND, right, because VPND has been doing good, VPND is up 160%. So when VPND shoots up, what do people want to do? They want to sell, right? But if you sell now, right, let's say you sell 2,000 VPND, right, you're going to pay a higher amount of Avalanche because the value of Avalanche is down, if that makes sense, right? So you're going to have to pay attention to the relationship between Avalanche and VPND. If they're both up a substantial amount, okay, fine. But just realize that, you're now being taxed. You would now, under this particular proposal, you would now be taxed in VPND. And I think they put, it talks a little bit more about, the value being the same and things of that nature. But when you break down the actual example, this is roughly for like a 2,000 VPND transaction, right? So currently 20 VPND would be burned, 180 VPND would be sent to the Treasury pool, right? The gas fee is paid in AVAX, right? So you just saw, well, you didn't see my MetaMask, but I paid my gas in AVAX. It was like 0.015 or something like that, AVAX. You end up with 1,800 VPND. So you would get 1,800, similar to our other example. You would get 1,800 out of your 2,000. 20 would be burned. 180 would be paid in VPND. In the new proposal, you would pay 20 VPND that would be burned, right? You would end up getting out 1,980 VPND because that's all that would require, because you're now that 180 VPND would be paid in AVAX, right? So let's do this. Let's go to Zapper, maybe. Let's go to Zapper on Avalanche. Let's do a swap. Let's do a swap. Let's do a swap. Let's select the token. Let's do VPND. Let's do this. Let's flip it. All right. So 180 VPND. It's not. We'll wait for Zapper to get their stuff together. 180 VPND will be 0.18 AVAX, right? At the current price of AVAX. So you would pay 0.1847 AVAX, or almost 0.2 AVAX, in VPND, right? Which would be currently $14.54. But back when VPND was 3 cents, last week when VPND was 3 cents, I'm doing this off camera, times 180, that would have been $5.40, right? Against the same number of AVAX, right? So if we, like I said, it'll be a third. So the bigger concern here is that if you're investing across the Avalanche network and AVAX is important to you, if you're only investing in VPND on AVAX, then that's fine. But if you're using Avalanche for other things, or you're actually staking at AVAX or building up AVAX, one of the things you might want to take into account is the price against AVAX versus VPND if this passes, right? What it does do for the Treasury is it gives it a token that it can actively use without transacting any VPND. So basically what this tax does is exchange out VPND for AVAX directly, right? So now they don't have to take any Treasury and convert VPND to AVAX or some other crypto. So it's positive for the Treasury, and it can be positive for us as investors, but you just have to be aware that if these prices are very divergent, you could end up losing a lot of AVAX or giving up more AVAX than what you would like to. And that's given what your views are on the long-term viability of AVAX, right? Versus VaporNodes, or both of them together. So just saying that, just bringing that point up, because everything else was pretty straightforward. This claim tax thing is something that's a very subtle change, and it definitely helps the Treasury for the project, but it's also something you want to take into account when you start dealing with larger amounts, or more importantly, if you're dealing with smaller amounts. Here you are trying to take a profit with VPND, and you're sacrificing more AVAX than you want to, because VPND has outpaced AVAX and where the whole market is taking a dip, and now you're taking a hit on your AVAX, and you're trading in AVAX for VPND to cash it out, right? So yeah, I think there's more to it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this particular claim tax and what you think overall. I get so many really good comments on these videos as far as VaporFi is concerned, and I think it's a very interesting protocol. I think the people are at least very excited about the project overall, and they appear to be, at least as a group, being very methodical in how they approach it, and really trying to be, I guess, forthright is the word I'm looking for. Very forthright with what they're thinking and how they want to adjust things in order to make it sustainable long term. So that is appreciated. One of the final things here is the claims tax allocation tiers. So it's 10%. It'll go up from there when you're above 5,000. Accordingly, up to as high as 13%. And like I said, this being paid in AVAX helps the Treasury immensely. But you definitely want to be aware of, I don't want to call it's not a permanent loss, but just, losing on your AVAX and the value of your AVAX because you're trying to get this, maximize the value out of your VPND, right? And one of the ways that you could do it is when VPND is low, take out an amount and hold that amount until it goes back up, and then cash that amount in, right? Because then, like, you did it at a low point, but then anyway, there's a way to get around it, and it's just one of those things where you just want to be aware of what's going on. So I think that pretty much covers the proposal. So you can access, if you go to the Discord, you can access the proposal to vote on it, and I believe they're already voting actively on this one. So go take a look at that. In the meantime, as you can see, we're, like, as we mentioned earlier, we're up to $10 a day. VPND is doing well, and there's been some hints toward Vapor Chain, and we'll wait to hear more about Vapor Chain, and wait to hear more about the snapshot. I think the snapshot before Vapor Chain and things of that nature. So just stay tuned. Hang in there with me. At any rate, I'm your man, Johnny Clutch Cards, a.k.a. Johnny Clutch Crypto. I'm always for the people, by the people. You only got me and the Constitution. Remember that.